Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming here today. My name is Faizan Sayed, F as in Frank, A-I-Z-A-N. My last name is Sayed, S as in Sam, Y-E-D, and I'm the Executive Director for the Council on American Islamic Relations. We're here today because, again, in our great city of St. Louis, we've received another incident involving a Muslim family who's been threatened by, in this situation, one of their neighbors. And this threat that we've seen has not only happened once, but it's a series of threats that have started in March 2015 and have gone on to this day. Our attorney, Robert West, will give you more details about that. At this particular moment, I would like to give just a few ground rules. The first one is that the family is to my left. The husband's name is Iyad, and his wife's name is Layla Alnusour. And they're spelled E-Y-A-D, and then for Layla, L-A-I-L-A, Alnusour, A-L-N-U-S-O-U-R. I would encourage everybody in the press to please hold questions till the very end. And we also request that the address of their particular home is not made public as well, just because in this age of Islamophobia, there's a real possibility that somebody could possibly threaten them because of that. At this particular moment, I would like to invite Robert West, the civil rights attorney with CAIR-Missouri, to come and give a summary of the incidents that are involved in this particular case. Robert?
Thank you. As Faizan said, my name is Robert West. I'm the staff attorney for CAIR-Missouri, and in this situation, we are representing the Alnusour family. The following is a summary of the events the Alnusour family has experienced in this matter based on our consultations with them. So Iyad and Layla Alnusour moved their family into their home in South St. Louis in March 2015. Almost immediately, a neighbor 2 houses down from them began harassing them about things like the length of their grass and also parking situations regarding visitors, friends, family. Partially in response to this neighbor's harassment regarding the parking, in February of 2016, the Alnusour family obtained approval from the city of St. Louis to add a driveway to the front of their home. When the contractor began work on this driveway in March, the neighbor began harassing the contractor as well, repeatedly, effectively scaring him away. Although the Alnusour family had already paid the contractor to begin work on the driveway, the contractor eventually stopped work at their house and has not been in contact with them since. He has not returned since. Over the next few months, with the Alnusour family getting work done on their house, they would have large items of refuse placed in the proper spot for bulk garbage pickup by the city of St. Louis. They began to notice that someone was taking items from these piles and throwing them all over the Alnusour family's front yard. At one point, they were able to identify their neighbor as the person throwing this garbage onto their yard. On or about July the 6th of 2016, Iyad confronted their neighbor about this. The neighbor then allegedly came onto the Alnusour family's property and explicitly told Iyad, "I do not like your guys' kind. I hate seeing all you move onto my neighborhood," and other statements of this manner. At this point, the two began exchanging expletives, and allegedly the neighbor punched Iyad in the back of the head, threatening to shoot him and also to burn his house down. He only left once Iyad grabbed one of his shovels and convinced the neighbor to back off and go away. The police were called, but as they received differing accounts from the neighbor and the Alnusour family, they claimed that their only course of action would be to arrest both men and have them charged, or else leave the situation alone. Iyad and Layla filed a restraining order against the neighbor the next day. However, as they were going out of the country to visit family, they requested a court date in September, which was granted. When they appeared at the hearing for this restraining order, as substantial time had elapsed and there had been no contact between the parties at that point since the restraining order was filed, the restraining order was dismissed. Still wanting to complete their driveway, the Alnusour family hired family friends experienced in construction to help them build the driveway. On November the 23rd of 2016, they were outside working when the neighbor began harassing them as well. He then went into his truck and pulled it onto their property and allegedly told them, "If you're not going to finish this driveway right now, I'm going to finish it." And allegedly pulled his gun on Iyad and the men working on the driveway. Layla put their children inside, and Iyad went to get his own gun. Meanwhile, Layla pleaded with the neighbor to leave, and he did. 911 was again called by both parties, and again, the police said that all they can do is arrest and charge both of them, despite the fact that the Alnusour family's security camera footage corroborated at least part of their version of the events. They then filed another restraining order the next day, which was denied. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert, for a summary of the facts of this particular case. At this particular moment, I would like to invite Layla Alnusour to come and just speak about being a mother and having to deal with this type of threat within her family. We have to remember that the family specifically put security cameras around their home because of the continuing harassment and threat they'd feel. At this moment, I'd like to bring up Layla.
Hi guys, I am basically here to say, I don't want anything bad to happen to us and our family. All I want to do is to feel safe in my own house. My kids are 8, 4, and 2. I don't even allow them to go outside anymore to play in their own backyard, and I am basically with them all day long. We barely leave the house. My husband works a couple hours a day because he does not want to leave us alone. And all I want to do is, to shine the light on our situation, to feel protected in my own home. That's about all I want, for him just to leave us alone and to be able, we can enjoy our life as a family of 5. Basically, after the problems, we had to put up security cameras in our own house. We had a couple nights, sleepless, restless nights. Every time we hear something, all we do is look on our cameras. Hopefully people, when we shine the light on what's going on, hopefully people will help us get, just get the situation under control and to just have my neighbor to leave us alone. We don't want nothing from him. As I told him, I had family members who had talked to him and told him just to leave my family alone. He doesn't like who we are, and I told him, when I talked to him, I said, you don't like us being Muslims, but my family has Muslim, Christian, Catholics, we are a variety of religion, Why are you looking at me and basing me on who do I believe in, what is my religion? So that's about it. That's all I want, is to help me get the situation under control. For my family and my kids to be safe. My 8-year-old kind of knows what's going on, and he's worried. And it's a shame to have an 8-year-old worried about his own safety in his own home. That's basically all I want, is your guys' help. Thank you.
To summarize, today we are here to specifically call on the St. Louis City Police Department to take this matter seriously. When you have families who are being repeatedly harassed and threatened and having physical violence happen against the husband simply because they happen to have the wrong religion or they're from the wrong part of the world is not acceptable in the United States. As Robert mentioned, this case has been going on since March of 2015, and on November the 23rd is when it escalated to a point beyond what's imaginable, when their neighbor specifically got in his truck, drove the truck onto their property, and had a gun in this truck and also threatened them with that as well. At this moment, I would like to show you some of the footage of that incident on November the 23rd. Before I do so, I would like to say that, again, what you're seeing in the footage is you're seeing the father, along with a few construction workers working on the driveway in their front, in their property. The neighbor will start yelling at them, and then he gets in the truck and he'll bring the truck onto their property. So at this moment, I'd like to play.
Is that the driveway on the side where he is right now?
Yes, that's the driveway on the side of their home. In this particular incident, one of the statements he says that if you're not going to finish this driveway right now, I'm going to finish it right now. And that's also when he reaches for his firearm. Again, when the police were called, they did find a gun in his truck, and after looking at the security footage, they still said that if we're going to charge him, we also have to charge Iyad. They were trying to figure out what it is that they want to charge him with. Since the election, there's been a dramatic increase in Islamophobia across the United States. In New York City alone, they've seen a 150% increase in bias-related attacks against the American Muslim community. In the state of Florida, they received 500% increase in crimes against American Muslims. And since the election happened, there's been a 67% surge in crimes against Muslims and Islamic Center. Overall, there have been 257 reported attacks on Muslim communities just in the last year. And the Council on American-Islamic Relations, we've reported 100 attacks since November the 9th of 2016. This incident is very similar to another incident that we dealt with involving Leonard DeBillo. He was another individual who was involved in Afton. Basically, when a Muslim family was home shopping, he came out and explicitly targeted them. He threatened to kill them. He then went to his home and pulled out a gun. What's interesting about his case as it relates to the Alnusour case is that Leonard DeBillo, that wasn't the first time he targeted that family. After Bob McCullough started prosecuting him, through the discovery, we've discovered that he's done this to other people in the past. The most notable was a Muslim woman who's the wife of one of the imams in Afton that he actually threatened. And when she called the police, rather than going after that man, they told the wife of the imam to take a different way home. And we find that something similar is happening in this situation, that the police have been called on numerous occasions, that there's been security footage as well, but yet still they haven't taken the matter serious enough to do anything about it. We believe that it's wrong for a family to be intimidated, threatened with violence, continuously harassed, in an effort to basically run them out of their home. This is a similar tactic that we've seen happen to many African Americans in St. Louis and across the United States when they'd move into predominantly white neighborhoods. Some of the neighbors didn't like them, and they would engage in similar behavior in order to try to get them out. I will conclude by also saying that what's happened to this family is awful. What makes them more afraid is that directly across the street from them, and you can see in the footage as well, is that a Bosnian Muslim family purchased the house directly across the street from them. That house was recently set ablaze in a very suspicious fire. And the police are still investigating that fire. But again, imagine you have a neighbor who's continuously harassing you, and then another Muslim Bosnian family that purchases a home across the street, that's then also set on fire. And yet there's no culprit. We also have the security footage of that. If any of the media would like that security footage of the night that home was set on fire, we'd be more than happy to provide for it. In summary, our main purpose is to highlight this situation with this family and also to call on the St. Louis City Police Department to take this matter more seriously, to investigate thoroughly, and to take whatever appropriate action might be necessary. Thank you for that. At this time, I'd like to open up for any questions that people in the press might have.
You mentioned the election.
Yes.
You said the word election, and of course, I don't know if you wanted to call it the Trump effect, the election effect. Do you think it's a direct result, direct, indirect, whatever, of what happened and words that were said during the campaigning? Is it a mixture of that and some guy just doesn't like you for some unfortunate reasons? What do you attribute it to?
Over the last several years, we've seen the mainstreaming of Islamophobia inside the United States. This has been going on by the GOP for the last several years. If you watch the 2014 election or you watch the 2012 election, 2008 election, you'll see many GOP candidates talking about Islam and Muslims in a very negative light. For example, saying that they would not trust Muslims to be on their cabinet until they take a loyalty test. Donald Trump has been the most vocal of these proponents. And since this last year, as I mentioned some of the statistics, we've seen increases in 115% in New York, 500% in Florida, 67% nationwide, 257 incidents just in the last year alone. And this is a result, though, if your highest elected officials are using the messaging of Islamophobia and fear against Muslims, obviously people within the side of the community and inside the country are going to attach to that and relate to that. And we feel that this type of rhetoric is not just rhetoric. It is encouraging people to take action against people who are Muslims or perceived to be Muslims.
You mentioned there have been other cases throughout St. Louis. How often is this happening in our communities?
Just since the election, our office has received 9 cases similar to this. We're still investigating some of the cases, but these cases involve people working at their jobs and having people come into their jobs, threatening them demanding to see their green card. This happened in Granite City just a few weeks ago. We have people at the El Salam Day School. There's a school in West County where young girls are walking back to the school, and a man basically is walking the other way, sees them, turns around, and starts following them until they start running and they get back to their school. And then he stands in front of the school and waits for a period of time, and then by the time they get help, he's gone. We've seen multiple cases of just people being verbally harassed on the street. So this is happening. The cases that we get are, again, I should reiterate, the least number of cases. Often what happens is that when people are discriminated, they don't report it. Even this family, we had to work with them extensively and really reassure them to bring this case to your attention. So again, when somebody is targeted, they are afraid, they are frightened, and often they don't bring those cases up.
Is there anybody else being targeted in your neighborhood, Muslim or non-Muslim? Is violence up, or is this a pretty isolated incident with your family?
I'm the only Muslim. I'm the only Muslim in the neighborhood.
You're the only one?
Yeah.
And you feel it's as a direct result of being Muslim?
Yes, sir.
What are the police saying? What are they saying to you? What are they saying about your neighborhood and to you?
See, the only thing they said is gonna be a cross charge on both of us because both of us telling different stories.
So to reiterate what Iyad said, what happens is that every one of these incidents, they call the police, and then their neighbor also calls the police. And when the police come up because of a lack of training, not only with the Muslim community, but just in hate crimes, the nature of hate crimes, they don't know how to respond to that. So what happens is that they tell Iyad that, listen, we can charge him, but we also have to charge you. And when you look at this particular footage, you can tell that they're just working on their driveway. And then he brings his truck up onto the driveway. He's the one that grabs the gun. They're the one that have to get the security cameras around their home. But yet when the police come, they say, you're gonna be arrested as well. And I do wanna say that their 8-year-old son, when the police came into their home, he also overheard the conversation. And he's also afraid for his father that he might be arrested. And he doesn't understand why and what's going on. So these are the situations we have. Again, if you look at the Leonard DeBillo case, the case that happened last time, here's a man that targets not only the Muslim family, but the wife of one of the imams in South County, and the police are repeatedly called on him, but rather than arresting him or charging him, they tell the Muslim woman, take a different way home, even though she lives in that subdivision. And we feel that that happened in St. Louis County. That same type of unpreparedness is happening in St. Louis City.
How can we as community members, everyday citizens, help put an end to this rather than relying so much on police?
Well, first we have to go through official channels. So if the police get involved, then they should know how to do their jobs. A second thing is that this family has also filed multiple restraining orders on this individual. The first one was thrown out of court because they were not in the country. The second one happened after this incident, and again, that was also denied as well. We're really at a loss for that, why these restraining orders are being taken away. Another thing that all of us as a community can do is if you see something, say something. These people live in St. Louis. This is their country. This is their home. And somebody's trying to drive them literally out of their home. And they've even had this conversation that maybe they should sell their house and move somewhere else. And that's not the country that we live in, and I don't think that's something we should pursue. And similar tactics have been done to African Americans in multiple cities in our nation's history. And this is just, it used to be African Americans, it's still going on, but now it's American Muslims. And in our community in St. Louis, this has happened now twice. And I think that, the police department, the county prosecutors, they should be trained and they should be more aware on how to deal with these situations.
You said it was the police come and they get two different stories.
Mm-hmm.
What's the story from the other side? What is he saying?
Unfortunately, we don't know. I think you'd have to ask the police department. St. Louis County Police Department, city's police department, you need to speak to them and figure out what they're hearing from that guy.
Have they upped their patrols at all? Have they not really reacted?
Have they seen more police in your neighborhood?
I don't see nobody, no.
No. If there's no further questions, at this time I'd like to conclude the press conference. I want to thank you all for being here. If you want the footage of this incident, please give us your contact. If you want the security footage of the night that their neighbor's house was burned down, please indicate that as well. We'll make all that footage public, available for anybody who needs it. And of course, myself, our attorney will be here to answer one-on-one questions or to do one-on-one interviews. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.